Hey, welcome back to another tutorial. This one was a bit of an experiment for me. I just wanted to make a kind of liquid flower thing. Couple of different ways to do it. Well, in the end, I sort of changed my mind how I wanted it to be. This was the kind of liquid version. Actually turn this off. That's wrong. And turn up. So yeah, this was kind of the more liquid version of it. Originally, this is what I had in mind. But what I didn't like here is, we still don't have particle-to-particle collisions. So they're not reacting and they're not rotating when they hit the surface and that kind of thing. Just looks a bit weird. It does look quite cool in the renders. But what I ended up liking a bit more is if we turn this back down, and I actually ended up putting a bullet tag on the cloner. So it's not quite the same in terms of liquid, but it does still kind of stick together. So I just preferred how they all interact with the scene and each other. And I think it looks pretty cool as far as a render goes. So yeah, let me start with a fresh scene, and we'll see if I remember how to build it. I'm just dropping, let me also just drop the lights, not a lighting tutorial, very basic. Just a dome light from the library and one area light. It was a spotlight, but let's just change that. Yeah, so this stone wall comes from the library as well. I just grabbed, this one, but use whatever you want to use. I'm going to turn that off now, and maybe that. Okay, so let's start with a basic emitter. I'm pretty sure I made it a circle, quite a bit smaller. And then put it up here. I really like this little mini ravine. That's what I was aiming for. Let's see which way that's turning. Always in the wrong way. So let's kind of do that. Okay. The simulation time, I think I put it 0.75 just to slow that down a bit. And I think that was about it for the scene setup. Okay, so let's build this thing out. So what I found with the thin geometry, well, wait, let's build the system first. Okay. We need a collider, and we don't want much bounce in there. Guess none. Then we're going to need a bunch of modifiers. Let's just pull this out. We obviously want to collide. Just going to keep this neat. Let me actually neaten this up. Bounce, turn that down. We are going to liquefy it. Now, one thing with the liquid, let's see. Oh, let's just say 5,000. And let's get some extra frames in here. One thing with the liquid, it always does this explosion thing in the front, and that's because it's got the default radius. So let's turn that off. And our radius, let's leave it at 1 for now. We want the speed off. Okay. So that's better, but what's happening is it's going through this mesh. So what I found worked, I'm sure there's other ways to do it, but what worked for me is just to grab this and put it in a thicken. We want the position of this to go the other way, and let's turn that off. So we're just giving it more geometry so it doesn't pass through. And there we go. We've got a basic liquid sim going down the rock. Now, we obviously have an issue here. Could move the emitter more, but I want it to start at the top. So what we're going to do is create a field condition and a kill. Now, I don't know why they make this so complicated. I can never remember the order of things, but I think the kill goes in the, oops, kill goes in the field condition. I often put the field condition in the kill. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but maybe that's just me. Okay, so let's see if this works. Yeah. Okay, so that's our basic sim, which looks pretty cool. You can dial in all the liquids. I think I put the surface tension up a bit. And what else did I do? I think that was about it. You can dial in all those settings. One thing I did was put a look in. And that's, let's put it on random, I think. Okay, so we want to get a little cloner going. So let's just test it with a cube. 1, 1, 1. Well, let's actually make this a little rectangular cube. And we're gonna put this on object and drop our particle group in. I'm going to turn this to render instance. And let's just turn off our particles for now. Well, viewing them. And let's see how we okay. Get rid of that. So, looking pretty good. Yeah, as I said, you can dial in all these details of how you want the liquid to behave, if that's what you're going to do. I'll leave that up to you. So I'm going to just grab a plant model that I use for another job. I'll show you. Just for a perfume job that had daffodils. So it's not super high res, but it's decent, and I just thought it looked kind of fun to use daffodils. You can use anything. There's a bunch of flowers and things in the library. I actually did one with what was it? I did one with the dandelion that looked quite cool. So yeah. Alright, so let's see how this looks. This is 5,000 at the moment. It's quite a lot for this scene. It's pretty cool. One thing I just wanted to check what else I put in there. Right, I put a friction in, but we don't really need that right now. So I mean, that's basically what you do for the kind of liquid version. Let's make a camera. It's 60. I'm just making a little focus here. I hate using the distance. And we'll put some bokeh on. And it never remembers. So yeah, interesting scene. You can stop there or use a different object. You can use the spin if you wanted to, the particles just to spin with sort of input values or random values. But it kind of just bothered me that they weren't interacting with each other. So let's turn this down. And then what we're going to do is, I still find that the rigid body simulation is way more process heavy than the bullet. I don't know why. Let's set that to mode dynamics, and let's see how that looks. Right, we obviously need another collider, the bullet collider on the thicken, and let's just turn down the bounce. Yeah, let's get this friction back in here. And maybe 30. Let's just see if that helps. Yeah. I mean, I much prefer that, how they're all, it's pretty fast as well. They're all interacting with each other in the surface. Kind of lose a bit of that liquid flowy feel, but yeah, I just sort of prefer this with the flower. Maybe something like grass or something like that would work better for the liquid. We can try that at the end. Okay, and then another little thing I did, just to add a bit of detail to the scene, I just grabbed some selections of this geometry, and then let's put this to objects. I'm going to drop that in, drop our selection in, and let's grab like some grass, maybe some dry grass, wild grass, and another one. We can drop all these in the cloner, turn that to random, turn my phone sound off. Get a random effector, turn the position off, rotation on. Now, let's just see what's happened here. Effector. Right. I think the normals of this rock is a bit weird. Okay, add a bit of variation and some scale variation. And let's see. One thing we need to fix is a lot of the flowers are going off the back. So that's going to cost us process time, and we're not getting them going down here. So again, simplest method, bullet tag. Just block all of these. There we go. Turn that off. So yeah, then we've got a pretty cool effect with very little setup. I'm just going to turn this right down. Just bring our light around. Where is it? May want to fill light on that side. Let's put a little one there. Bring that exposure down. And then the material on the daffodil is just, it came with a very basic normal PBR kind of thing, you know, color, bit of a bump. And then I'm also putting the color into the subsurface and then making it thin-walled. Normally plants you make thin-walled. So those are those settings. But obviously you're going to use your own object. So yeah, that is little liquidy but actually dynamic flower sim down a cliff. And what's nice is you can, it's all set up now, so I'm not using the word procedural, but it kind of is. So you can, let's pick something else. Try the daffodil. I also had quite a nice rose model that I bought for another job. Show you that. It's just quite a nice detailed model. So let's try it with the dandelion. Interesting. Oh, right. I think for this we could actually turn the dynamics off and make that more liquid type simulation. That's pretty cool. Don't think these are red shit. Oh, they are. Sure. I think I'll do a render of this one as well. Yeah, looks quite nice. I mean, it's not a very high poly model. Maybe let's just not go too crazy on the bokeh. One. That's good. And let's see what the rose looks like. I think this might be quite big. Also very interesting though. So yeah, super fun technique, and you can get some really really interesting abstract scenes going. I mean, that looks pretty cool. Maybe I'll render that one. And I think we may want to just bump that light up a little bit. Alright, so there it is. It's a little liquid particle sim. I really hope we're going to get particle-to-particle collisions in cinema soon. And it's so much easier to set up than Houdini, but that's just the one thing we're missing. So yeah, hopefully that comes in the next big update. And thanks for watching.